I said that I wasn't going to finish this, but my smart-ass friend had the same idea I did with this game. So, just to be familiar, in case you don't know, but obviously, end of the game, you know, this is the thing that breaks. Just no matter what you do, you walk through that door, it will constantly break. There is a way around to the other door, doesn't break. I don't know what the problem is, but it's one of those things that it doesn't start a cutscene is the thing. Because if it started a cutscene, then no matter what, scripting that cutscene would crash this game no matter what. So no matter which door you walk through, if it starts a cutscene, game crashes, but it's not. You pretty much walk in there and talk to him. So for whatever reason, you walk past that little line right there, game will always crash. So instead, providing I can find my way back, you have to be in the main room and cheese this entire section by climbing these boxes here, because you come up from over there, you can run around and go in, that's where you're supposed to go. But if you come round to this little walkway where these boxes are, jump on top, walk along the railing, and you bypass that entire section. Thus you can continue, or like what I'm going to be doing regardless, providing I can find the fucking door. There it is. You can enter and talk to Chairman Rockwell.
Well, look who it is.
So yeah. And the weird thing is, which I think I recorded yesterday anyway, but if you kill everyone, even this guy included, you can walk through that door. So I really don't know what the problem is.
The captain's treated me right. Better than any of you bored folk ever have. I'm exactly where I want to be.
Ah, and the wayward doctor. Are you about done with your escapades? We have faces that need lifting after all.
These days, I'm more interested in breaking them. Wouldn't mind taking a swing at yours.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens. My word! You've correctly identified the most recognizable man in the colony.
One asshole.
Remarkable. It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Then again, he's an insane person. Thankfully, he's our insane person now. A proper company man. Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine, he isn't working for us per se. Semantics, he'll come around.
Oh, and also this is the end of the game, by the way. This game is only about 10 hours, which obviously if you're somehow watching this, you already knew that anyway. But
It's a miracle. Oh yes, go on, wake them up, add more mouths to feed. That'll solve our starvation problems. I don't know what half-baked plans that simpleton in a lab coat has been leading you through, but it's done. It's over. Let me ask you something, Captain. Have you at any point thought about not fucking up our entire society?
We're helping, which is more than you can say.
I'm making actual progress towards stabilization and recovery. You're just getting in the way. Oh, right. This coming
I wonder if
from
you can
psychopathic
actually talk him
outlaw.
over.
Yes, I'll try to be more open-minded about your path of wanting dissent. We don't need your help. I'll admit, there's no shortage of talented scientists and engineers there. Look, I'm not an unreasonable man. If you manage to storm the castle, as it were, and make it out of here with Phineas alive, I can't exactly afford more havoc than you've already caused. Fine. If you survive, you'll need someone to sell the rest of the board on your plan.
Oh, that's talked him over, so hopefully, fingers crossed. Not save first and foremost. So yeah, fingers crossed we can get the good end.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So
Yep, you guys can fight, I'm not.
fight!
That's your entire problem. Yep, this is the final fight. So it looks like this video is only going to be like, what, 10 minutes long? But oh well, whatever. Whatever.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty. I'm afraid I can't do that. You have a flair for subtlety. If you'd worked for me, you would have been the greatest fixer Halcyon has ever seen. For all your talents, you are the enemy of Halcyon, and therefore you are my enemy. You make a nuanced and compelling argument. Here's my rebuttal. No. Dr. Wells is being held in my custody. His cooperation will prove invaluable, even if I have to beat it out of him. All
Nope.
that's left to do is put down this riot, arrest you, and then get on with the bloody business of saving this colony. Fair enough. I'm giving you exactly one chance to parlay with me.
Fine then, let's dance. Oh wow, if you have Intimidate 85, Heavy Weapons 55, and Two-Handed Melee 55, I'm giving you a chance to walk away.
Interesting that you think I'm going to die here. I believe I'm more than capable of taking you on.
Okay.
Did you really think I would make this easy on you? I've devoted my entire life to protecting Halcyon. I'm not afraid to die in the line of duty. There isn't much of a board left, thanks to you. You've thrown
No, I
this
haven't. I
stupid
just
disarray.
want you to understand the people you froze 70 years ago, there are smart minds who you can unfreeze. Let them live. Maybe they can help. Rather than just,
Got in with that
no.
madman, Phineas Wells. Yes, I'm quite aware of your brazen act of corporate vandalism. By the way, those test subjects you
Yeah.
killed, my scientists assure me they... That isn't true. It can't be. You're trying to manipulate.
Nope.
That experiment was absolutely essential. Damn you. You are telling the truth. My scientists have been lying to me, and I was stupid enough to trust them at their word. We're going to have to start all over again. I haven't given up on the program. I haven't lost control of the labyrinth yet.
Yes, I know. Light 85 and Hack 85, so could you repeat that? I was too busy taking on...
This prison is equipped. And don't.
I don't want to fight you. Do I have to? Ram. Okay. But I think I saved beforehand, so I should be fine.
Real flick.
Damn it, I need 89 hacking. Character, skills, what's hacking? Hacking is stealth. Bollocks, I don't have any stealth. If only I had stealth, I could have fucking done this. And then I could just destroyed that bloody thing. Because how many do I need? 89. Because I'll only have 86 is the problem. God damn it. Nope, I see it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Stop firing at me. Fuck's sake. Just get rid of Ram. No, Ram. Here. How are you still alive? Suck a dick. Fucking hell. That's close. Oh no, it's sealed. Well, I guess it's time to finish this.
Why won't you just...
Not what I wanted to do, but whatever. Whatever.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the Board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the Board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon.
Yeah, and this is where normally, if this was like the halfway point of this game, it would be fantastic, but sadly this is where it fucking finishes.
Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
They haven't exactly been hands-on around here anyway. So there's one less rubber stamp to worry about.
Earth is humanity's home planet, Miss Fenhill. The psychological effects of losing our original home will be devastating.
You mean we're all alone out here? Really alone?
Me.
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own. Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. In must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds. And then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us? When I revived you, I thought you were going to help me save this colony. I was wrong. I had our roles reversed, you see. You're the one who's going to save us all. I'm just the one who set you on your path. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony, you have my support. We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so we have been set free. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be if there was more game.
The OSI teaches that
Yeah, it would be if there was more fucking game.
according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment she landed in Emerald Vale, her actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Between MSI's worker-centric policies and the iconoclast's manpower, Sanjar and Zora were able to rally many of the Terra 2 townships to their cause. MSI's workforce swelled, and the iconoclasts enjoyed a significant surge in their ranks. The board was too distracted by infighting and internal politics to stop MSI from becoming a powerful corporation and a refuge for townships that might have fallen through the cracks. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction, openly accusing board officials of an extraterrestrial conspiracy.
Yeah.
One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if her replacement could keep the Sublight family together. In the end, after years of struggling against its own obsolescence, Edgewater lost the battle of attrition to plague, marauder attacks, and desertion. Edgewater was never visited by another stranger, with the exception of a small party of marauders who raided what was left of its cantina.
Right, okay.
Under the leadership of
Tutorial place.
the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly
Oh,
everyone had to
boo-hoo.
learn to make
Boo-hoo, the rich bastards have to work.
some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income from the life insurance...
It's gonna be longer me reading through the fucking credits than it did to beat the game.
She hired a small crew and flew supply missions to communities on the fringe. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Parvati didn't survive her adventure with you. As hard as she tried to drink...
She didn't die!
Ilka's memories eventually overcame her. Traveling with a crew served as a
Whatever.
reminder of the family she'd lost, and so she eventually returned to Monarch to get back to what she found most comfortable. The deep end of a bottle and the far end of a trail. Few have seen her since, but travelers often swear they hear her and her machine gun in the night, screaming swears and spitting bullets. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. Chairman Rockwell served as the public face for the changes in Halcyon to come. Whenever you needed strings pulled or a voice to sell a policy change, Rockwell was only too happy to oblige. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances.
Yeah, good end.
Nearby colonies send aid
I suppose.
and supplies.
Still pissed about the fucking Parvati thing, but whatever.
But for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard. But Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hulk's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
And yeah, there you go. That's the Outer Worlds. I suppose that's the good ending. Many different things leading up to it, but overall, we succeeded in saving the place. Do I recommend this game? Not at full price. Not at full price, God, no. It is worth playing, I will admit. It is about 10 hours, which is not bad, I suppose, but it's slightly lacking. Because like I made mention, if I can, I will. Yes, okay, I'll quickly do this. But as I made mention to Dark Shadow yesterday, there are many things like this. You don't go to Eridanos, Olympus, Typhon, or Hephaestus. I would maybe assume you at least go to Hephaestus, maybe, and I think Eridanos if you, help the board. Wait, no. Well, yeah, but Olympus and Typhon are just uninhabitable planets, which is slightly annoying, but for the game that's here, you start here, go to these two, you're over here, and then you're there. That's it. You do tutorial, you do a couple things here, they send you over to Monarch, you do that there if you do all the quests and stuff if you want, and then they send you back to Terra 2, to Byzantium, and then that leads you to Tartarus. That does. So in terms of then obviously you've got Hope, which you have to go to bring them back, but that's just a walking sequence, and they're 2 side quests, and that's just a side quest planet. So yeah, in terms of content, there is some content here and it lasts for 10 hours and it's good, but I just wish there was slightly more. Well, I wish what you do at Tartarus was the halfway point, like everything you've done up until that point is then set in stone of the decisions you made. So if you kill people, was not friendly, didn't do certain things, from that point forwards then could make the game harder or easier, depending on the quests that you get, to actually reform and bring back, obviously Halcyon. But yeah, I think it does just end a little too prematurely. That's pretty much my entire review of this. It ends too early. Because obviously this game doesn't have to be a 40-hour RPG, of course it doesn't. But if like I say, even if it was just 5 to 10 more hours, of just picking up the pieces, finishing off, and actually bringing this place to sustenance and being able to continue on in existence, I probably would have enjoyed that. But as it stands, I mean, from these developers who've made this, because it pretty much isn't Obsidian anymore, not the Obsidian you would know of anyway, because most of them would have moved on. I know one writer moved on to Dying Light 2. But yeah, so in terms of these sort of new developers behind Obsidian, the game that's here is good. It's a good effort, So anything that they make from now, or at least their next project that they're working on, I'll look forward to it. I'll keep my eyes open, but yeah, I don't really have much more to say. It's worth getting, just not right now. That's the thing. It is not worth £50, $60, whatever. It is not worth it. The £30 mark, £35 mark if you want to push it. But 15 if you're sort of here or there. But otherwise, like if you do have an Xbox One or a PC that can run this, I do heavily recommend just getting it on the Xbox Game Pass. Paying the monthly fee, however much that is. I think it's like maybe £8 to £12, I don't know. But yeah, it's probably just worth paying that amount, setting out maybe a weekend if you've got the time. I mean, you've got a whole month to play it. But yeah, just setting it out to play it, because you'll get it done in a few days easy, rather than paying £50, But yeah, I'll leave you with that. It's a shame it didn't go on for any longer, but I guess in one way it didn't outstay its welcome. That I can't argue. Some RPGs do go on for a little too long sometimes, but I'm glad this didn't outstay its welcome. Wish it was a little bit more, but overall it's worth playing further down the line. But without further ado, I'll catch you in the next one, YouTube. Ta-ra.